Hi, I'm Carolyn, and I'm a first-year PhD student here in the Weber Lab at Michigan State. The Weber Lab is part of the Plant Department, and we are also affiliated with EBE, which is the Ecology and Evolutionary Biology program that is really interdisciplinary and interacts with a lot of different departments at this university. So as a part of the Weber Lab, we do a lot of different kinds of research. The kind of gist of it is that we are interested in macroevolutionary patterns in plant-insect interactions. And so there's a lot of us that are interested in how plants defend themselves, how they're pollinated, but also in phylogenetic methods and the expression of traits. So, there's a lot of really interesting opportunities to do work in this lab. This is the Weber Lab space. It's pretty big overall. We've got a lot of great resources here. Generally, our postdocs have their desks down kind of at the end of these little hallways, basically. But this is also where we have our balances and our microscopes and other types of storage for materials that we use for our experiments in this lab. I'll give you a little bit of a taste of what it's like to live in Michigan. It is currently snowing, a little hard to tell, but it's been snowing all morning, so that's pretty fun. It is beautiful, quite frequently. We have a fume hood, we have a -80 fridge, we've got other storage for sensitive samples, and we've even got a little growth chamber / incubator here. This is kind of more storage space, but we often have a spec set up in here. What's really cool is that we have a break room. We are one of the only labs in this building, I think, that has its own break room, which is really nice. This is, obviously where we have lunch when things are normal, and where we have food storage. Additionally, this is where we have our lab meetings, and we can present to each other on this nice big screen. Over here is what we call the bowling alley. This is where our grad students have their desk space. And when we are all in the building, it's a really fun place for discussion and just rolling over to each other's desks. This is the molecular space. We actually share this with Dr. Emily Josephs. So the Josephs lab is just over here, and when people are in the building, we can just pop over here and say hi to the grad students and postdocs that are over in that lab. So we've got pretty much a fully equipped molecular space, centrifuges, thermocycler, sterile cabinet, pipettes, a sample fridge. Heading out the door of the lab, there are lots of other labs, obviously, in this area. Joseph's lab is just right down here, and the Niederhuth lab is over here. There's also the grad student break room, which is right here. Obviously, it's not open right now. This is the cold room. This is where we store some temperature-sensitive seeds, and also it's where we germinate certain types of plants. Right now, we've got some grape cuttings that are rooting right in here. Kind of hard to see anything going on, obviously, but hopefully they're growing roots. MSU has a bunch of really great facilities for complementing our research efforts. Of course, there's the greenhouses, which are kind of off in that direction, and for obvious reasons, that's where we grow our plants. Right now, Bruce has a bunch of viburnums down there. We've also got a bunch of grapevines that are hopefully growing right now. We also have access to the mass spec facility, which is across the street in the basement of the biochemistry building. So in the past, that's where we've done some liquid chromatography mass spec analysis of great metabolites, but there's also other kinds of specs and NMR and that kind of fun stuff. Additionally, there's the genomics core, which is in the basement of this building. That's where you can get your DNA sample sequenced, and there's Illumina and Sanger sequencing and a bunch of other cool things. And also in the basement is the growth chamber facility. And that's where we have a bunch of growth chambers where you can do really controlled abiotic experiments on plant growth. So MSU has a lot of really cool stuff to offer, and the Weber Lab is a great place to work. Everybody's super friendly, and it's a really welcoming and exciting lab space, obviously, when there's people here. So we hope that we'll see you on campus at some point.